Hi everyone, it's Lara Fedoroff. I am the Global Executive Producer for World Information Architecture Day, which is coming up February 21st, 2015. We have 38 cities that are participating in over 24 countries. So we're really excited about this event, and leading up to it, we wanted to share with you some of the World IA Day user research that Lizzy Bentley put together. Lizzy has a fantastic background in film and writing, and she volunteered to do some user research for us. She does have her own UX consulting firm called Story by Design, which really focuses on user research and strategy. So she really was a perfect fit for our global leadership team to focus on user research. And we did work with the Abby and Aaron from the Information Architecture Institute as well. So thank you so much, Lizzy, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to share this information. Um, we chose to call the report We Hear You because fundamentally what we were trying to learn is what do people who are working on putting this event together, what kind of support do they need and what are they hoping to get out of the day? What do they most enjoy and what's their vision for the future? So we talked to a bunch of different people, primarily, well, city leaders, both new and experienced, a lot of attendees at all levels of professional experience, all the way from people who write books down to people who are just wanting to get into the field. We also talked to sponsors, both who are sponsoring the day and who aren't sponsors but are potential sponsors, and also to people in adjacent fields. I talked to somebody who does museum wayfinding, for example, just trying to see what is the possibility of reaching out and becoming relevant to more fields and having a more multidisciplinary approach. So that's who we talked to, and the findings are, here we go, next slide.
Well, before we get to that, I guess I just wanted to say that these slides are going to be available on Basecamp. So some of the slides have a lot of information, so we'll make sure those are available to all of you. So yeah, let's talk about what we're going to go through today.
Well, quickly, I'm just going to grab the big takeaways. First of all, getting the word out. How do we publicize the day? And also, not just that it exists, but what it is. How do we get people interested in what we're doing? Next, sponsorship, both from the point of view of city leaders who are reaching out to sponsors and sponsors. What are they looking for in this kind of relationship? Community culture, really trying to dig down a little bit into what people primarily want out of the experience, and also what they're looking for in the future. What's their vision for World IA Day, and for different ways of developing best practices together and internationally. And lastly, event experience, which is what's it like and why do people come, essentially. So those are the topics I'm going to spin through, and you can always go back for more detail to the Basecamp. Executive summary. So kind of like the requirements. What are we, essentially, why does this day exist, and what purpose are we serving? The goal for research was to explore what kinds of support city leaders need to make the most vibrant, engaging, educational, and community building World IA Day for their attendees. So what we found was, first off, in terms of getting the word out in our community, I think the big finding here is that one thing really towered over everything else. I was expecting it to be more organizations and authorities that people would look to, or universities. Really, it was Twitter. Pretty much every single person I talked to from all areas, they basically decide what they're going to read or really essentially pay attention to, bring into their world and practice, based on tweets and really on who tweets it. So people are just curating their own self-guided educational experience. And that's a really good direct way. It's really important for us to know we can do a lot of tweeting. And also, I think the IAI has a lot of people who are followed by a lot of people, so we can kind of scaffold and build there. There are a lot of people who look at, the example on the card is, if Peter Morville says it's good, I'm interested in reading it. But I think it's this, that goes across with a lot of people, including our dear Abby. So using those resources to tweet is really essential. So
So
you
for
can
the
keep.
recommendations, it looks like you're really recommending that we put a lot of energy into the Twitter channel. And I know that most of our cities have their channels set up. A few remain, but most people have them set up, but I have not seen a lot of activity. So we do want to get that going really quickly. And there are lots of ways that you can just retweet someone that you really trust and the thought leaders are in our industry, or you can create your own content. So Vivek has put together just a fantastic World IAD toolkit on social media, and it has all those ideas in there. There's tweets that are already written, there's ideas. So please check that out, and let's get our teams really moving on this Twitter channel.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Um,
great. So I think I hit on this too. I mean, obviously, we do have other social channels. Did you hear that anyone was using any of the other channels when you were doing your research?
I did, but you know what? It's less so. In terms of what they're going to read or attend, it's more from the tweets. But I think that, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, one thing people express is they want to feel involved. Like you want to rope people in before the event. You don't want to just wait for like, 2, 3 weeks beforehand. uh, I think it helps communities come together if they look at like, hey, look, there are the people who organize the event, and there they are in their meeting, or here's their space that they've locked down for the event, or so there's so much content. If you've got stuff that you're thinking of, like if you're locking down your speakers, right there, that's stuff that you can tweet, and you can also Facebook or Instagram. So I think kind of Twitter's the hub of the wheel, and then the spokes going out are the Facebook, the Instagram, the Pinterest, all that stuff.
Great, thank you.
All right. Sponsorship is a huge thing, and I think this is really like where some game-changing information came up. Um, First of all, well, I'll say before I get into the game-changing stuff, the main thing that city leaders wanted is a little more support and guidance about how to approach sponsors and also how to respond to some of the requests that sponsors may make that may be something that doesn't work either with our whole brand or with your individual city. And I think there's a lot of clarification on that, again, in this sponsorship toolkit that's on Basecamp. Then the second thing is, what did sponsors really want? And what I learned is that nobody said, oh, what I really want is what you're offering, which is, the slide before the presentation, the, 5-minute talk, usually a table, a logo link on the page. Most of these people did not even go to the site, hadn't even looked to see their own logo. So what I learned there is that they're really looking for somebody to say, they're happy to buy in at a certain level, but what they want in return is they're happy with all that stuff, but that's kind of like the gift bag that you never open. What they really want is someone to say, hey, sponsor, what do you want out of this? What's going to make this a meaningful and positive experience for you? And they want to work in a partnership situation where they can say, hey, what I really want to do is, for example, one person said, I really want to get my product into people's hands and have them use it. Okay, so how could you work that out? Maybe, I think the real thing is just customizing, because A, you're more likely to get a yes, and B, that's how you're going to build a relationship year over year and get more money in the future, or convert in-kind sponsors to money sponsors, which is always a great goal. So that was the big thing I learned. Use the guide, the rate sheet, use that as a point of departure to begin a relationship, not as a form of relationship. One other thing I'd like to throw out before we move on is a couple of people said to me, and I think this is valuable and something I hadn't thought of. A sponsor said, we're looking for ways to get involved ahead of the event. So one thing to ask might be, identify what kind of metric they're interested in following and what kind of data you can provide them with before, during, and after. These are just ideas. Okay, community culture. This was something that was really fun to talk to people about because I realized that this event, even though it's a really young event, does already have a very distinct personality, and people really like it. People are very into the physical experience of coming to the event and talking about what they do. And the fact that it's very inclusive. So all the way, the idea of beginners and experienced practitioners and all kinds of people coming together, and the fact that the event is free and it's characterized by this sort of like abundance energy. People are just coming together to really celebrate what they do. So that was really important. And the other thing is, two there are two things that people want to work towards. One is developing their teams into teams that meet year round, and the other thing is to create some sorts of city exchanges, whether that's virtual or in person, exchanging speakers, ideas, just the idea of really getting the international scope, not just that there are these isolated 38 events going on, but that we're somehow interacting with each other and sharing information. So
Great.
those were
Okay, did you want to move on to the resources available?
Yes, here's the wonderful World IA Day Toolkit resources, and they're all available on Basecamp. And this one will also be on there.
Yeah.
Basically, anything you learn how to do.
Right, we really worked with our leaders to document everything, and so that means that we want a lot of your input to make this better for next year. So we definitely want to know what is useful from these resources as you guys use them, and how we can make them better. So we put the link down here at the bottom of the slide, so it's really easy for you guys to access where you can find all the information. And if you have questions about any sort of thing with strategy or any of these topics, really, just reach out to me. I'm here to help you and support you in this. You could even have a question as easy as, is it okay to hold seats? Well, I know for Los Angeles last year, we reserved the front two rows of our audience, and it worked out really well because we could allow speakers to sit there if they wanted. We had some VIPs from the city office there, and then also we had one person that had accessibility needs, and we were able to accommodate that really easily. So those questions might seem really obvious and easy, but maybe you don't know the answer. So please just reach out and ask us. We're definitely here to help.
So this is just a little vision of the future, and the key thing I think I want to pull out here is the archive and what people were looking towards with that. The big people were not interested in the live stream. What they were interested in is actually being at the event and being able to be with people and have all those kind of, not even really the talks, but all those in between the talks moments that you have with people, which are really a huge part of why a person would attend something like this. And if they couldn't actually attend, they were more interested in an archive that was, was of a decent level of quality, like good audio, good capture, and something uniform. So that was the big thing in the future. Like, let's have this awesome archive that really reflects really incredible best practices of IA.
Right. And I think as we look back at last year, that's one of the areas we definitely need to improve on. And so early on, we made this archival process as one of our biggest goals because as the IAI redesigns their website, we really want to have a strong connection between the World IA Day content and the IAI. It's the perfect marriage of data. So really what we wanted to set up is a great AV system at every location, really make sure you're capturing that, and then we'll put it online. Now, it's expensive to capture that. AV is expensive, so hopefully you guys are getting local sponsors. And what Chris did, Chris Bovards, our AV director, is he put together the documentation and the toolkit for something that's pretty cheap to something that's really high-end production value. So you have everything in between. So what I'd say about live stream is, okay, maybe not that many people are going to watch the day of the event, but live stream is a way to capture it at a really, cost-effective way that allows us to put it then in our archive. So there's more to live streaming than just the day, which, I think we had 22 for LA last year, which was pretty good. But I think that will grow, and it does allow it does follow that accessibility. Like if people are unable to get to the event, that they could watch it. So we really want to be sensitive to that, and we also just truly, truly want to make sure we're capturing the awesome speakers and content and all the work that the city leaders are doing. We really want to showcase that in one place that's easy to find everything.
And one last thing I'll throw on there that comes also from my film background, but the reality is quality audio is what it's all about. People will forgive the most crazy framing decisions and in continuity, all kinds of problems if you have good sound. So, that's a great thing to go and check out that toolkit, think about how you're going to mic people, get that organized.
Right. Well, Lizzy, you did so much work in gathering all of this research that you did and analyzing it and putting it together for the team. So I want to thank you. And if people have questions for you, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can email me or they can call me. I see you got my number up there, so feel free to give me a call or drop me a line. And anything I can help with. I'm really, really excited about this. And I really think, and I would love to, if anyone is particularly interested in this, bringing in people from outside, that's something I think could really benefit the discipline and also how other disciplines work.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again for your time, and I look forward to sharing this with everyone.
Great, thanks.